All right, welcome to the podcast of Life's Traction Control. This is JR Raymond. I'm here tonight just having a beer, ready to talk a little bit about bowling, because that's what we're going to do. Every so often, I'm going to do some podcasts where we're going to just chat about bowling, maybe just chat about some of the things that are bothering me. A little bit on weekends, I'll talk about the results of events, as well as why I struggled or didn't struggle, why I did well or didn't do well. I guess it kind of goes into a little bit of both. So tonight we'll talk a little bit about beer. I like beer. I'm going to drink a little bit of Red's Wicked Apple. I know somebody's going to say, oh, that stuff's gross. What are you doing? That's a chick drink. Whatever. Piss off. I'm trying to have a drink. I'm going to hang out with my kid, and we're going to talk a little bit about bowling. So if you don't like it, oh well. That's not really my prerogative to tell you what to like or what not to like. For me and the rest of the audience who do like it, cheers. Good stuff. So anyway, tonight I think I kind of want to chat a little bit about that whole storm thing. We just did the storm bowling balls, and I am getting a couple of comments of people saying it's confusing. Well, I don't want it to be confusing. I want it to be as easy as possible. And the reason I even came up with the numbering system is to make it more simple for the bowler, for the everyday bowler, to be able to say, okay, this is where these bowling balls line up. I know I can do the math and just put these together and say, okay, this is a 204. How does it match up against this ball, which turns into a 218? And then when you look at the cover and everything and you compare the two and you look at them and you say, well, that actually makes sense because that lower number is going to be overall more hook. So now we can take literally an entire arsenal of bowling balls, we can number them, and we can make them make sense. We can put them in order and try to make them make sense in a way of saying, okay, I know this ball is technically stronger than this ball, which is technically stronger than that ball. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be a little bit different from building to building. What bowling ball is normally your strongest bowling ball might not necessarily be your strongest bowling ball in a different building on a different pattern. It definitely can vary based on where you go. For instance, this weekend at the event that I won, I used some what I thought were weaker equipment that actually hooked technically more because it was cleaner and sharper down lane. Now, I know what I tried to do in the beginning was to try to blend the pattern a little bit, get it to hook a little bit earlier and kind of smooth out the rest of the lane, and that never worked. That did not work at all. So I ended up going to a medium range ball, moving left, and kind of doing like a combination of both. It wasn't a weak ball, it wasn't a strong ball, but it was strong enough that it read the middle of the lane and blended the middle of the lane. And it was weak enough to where it still hooked down lane. And when I say weak enough, I mean it actually stored some energy and kind of still went through the pins. So it gave me some good ball motion that a weak ball didn't give me and a strong ball didn't give me. So in a different circumstance, if I were to take that same bloody ocean that I'm talking about and I were to take that ball and take it onto a high volume pattern, it's going to be super clean and probably be super sharp down lane. Whereas then I can use a lower number ball like a 204 or a 198 or something in that realm, and it will actually react kind of like the bloody ocean did on the higher friction. So we've got to remember that what we're bowling on, where we're bowling, is going to determine an awful lot of our ball reaction. So don't get confused just because you see a bowling ball that is like a 220 versus like something that's 190. You throw the 190 and it doesn't hook, and then you throw the 220 and it looks like it hooks out of the building. It's not because the 190 is not hooking. It's because it's hooking too much. It's because it's hooking too early and it's smoothing it out completely. So when I'm making this numbering system, it's more for the beginner to intermediate bowlers. For the advanced bowlers, because of exactly what I'm talking about, the numbering system won't necessarily always work, but I think it's a good way to maybe be able to at least put stuff in perspective, put these bowling balls into some kind of a scale that will say, what bowling ball is supposed to be where, knowing which ball is weaker. I know we can the more advanced bowlers can look at the numbers and you can say, okay, this is what I've got. This is what I know I can do with it. It's going to fit here, because we have the knowledge, we have the experience, we have everything in front of us that tells us exactly what we want. But now what this numbering system is meant for is more meant for telling people, what these balls are meant, where they're meant to fit before putting holes in them, more or less. Once you put holes in them, it can change them one way or another. If you put a 1-inch pin in a bowling ball, you're going to make it look like it's not hooking at all per se, technically. But it's actually hooking earlier. It's actually laying the core down and making it hook a little bit more in the front. So it looks like it's giving it a little bit less reaction when it's more in a way, even though, it's making the core not have to flip as much, I guess you would say, because by laying it down on its axis already, you're basically making the core, taking the core out of play. So, and then the opposite is true. You can take something super, super strong that's meant to roll early and smooth, and you can put a 6-inch layout on it and make it a little bit cleaner and make the core kind of tumble a little bit on end over end to where it is a longer transition getting to its axis. So, those are just, and I hate to use the more technical words. I know there's probably some more beginner to novice type bowlers listening to this or watching it, whichever way. But I know these things, once you become better bowlers, dang boy, you got to close that door so sharp. But I know once you become better bowlers, these words, all this stuff is going to become a little bit easier to follow along. So when you start hearing these words, watching and listening to some of these podcasts are going to help you because you're going to hear these words and eventually you'll be able to pick up on them. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to pay attention or to comment below if you have questions about certain words. Then make sure to comment below. Don't be afraid. Don't let none of these bullies who are going to get on there and try to comment and call you an idiot. Don't let them bother you. Who cares? I don't care. They're just trolls. I get people that come on, on here all the time and try to call me an idiot and say that I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, which they may be right. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? They could be right and they could be wrong. I happen to believe they're wrong because I've been doing this for a long time. I've been teaching this for a long time, and I believe I'm going to continue to teach this for a long time. And I've had a lot of success with helping to coach and make people better bowlers. So I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable by commenting below. I want you to be as comfortable as possible, because if I see a rude comment like that, I will just delete it. So don't even worry about it. You don't even have to worry about people trying to be complete and total jerks to you. You can just kind of ask your questions, and most people who do know the answer are going to answer for you. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. Anybody listening to the podcast, I don't know if there's an option to ask questions or not. So maybe just kind of shoot over to YouTube and ask that question. I have no idea if there's an option for that. I'm going to guess maybe there is. I'm not sure. This is going to be my first actual podcast that I'm posting. So I don't know, again, like I said, if there is an option for that. Now, this weekend, moving on to the next topic, this weekend we are going to listen to my kid make noises. Goodness. Quiet down, boy. But this weekend we are. I'm going to live stream a couple of events. I am going to be in Toledo for both events. One is at Bolero. One is at what's the other one? Bolero Miracle Lanes. A couple of bigger MSBS events, MSBS being scratchbowling.com. Make sure to head over there, check everything out over there. And for you YouTube followers, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification button so you get all the notifications of all the videos. Podcast listeners, please be sure to subscribe. Is that the word? Is it subscribe on here? Sure. Follow along, subscribe, because we're going to be doing a lot more than these. Just beers and bowling, man. We're just going to talk. We're just going to have a beer. We're going to chat. And we're going to try to make this as friendly and fun as we possibly can with a little bit of information. I got to be honest with you. I got a little bit of a headache tonight, so this one probably won't be as long as some of the other ones. I'm probably going to cut it short here pretty shortly. See what I did there? Cut it short pretty shortly. But anyway, so we're just going to chat a little bit about all these things. But yeah, I'm going to be live streaming this weekend, so you guys can at least see some stuff. And I know, man, I get these people that come on and they're like, oh, this stream sucks. We can't see anything. It's like, man, I'm at the mercy of the Wi-Fi. There's nothing I can really do about it. The cool thing is a lot of times I'm doing it with my phone. So if the Wi-Fi is awful and I have a decent enough connection with my phone, I can just use the data and kind of stream it that way, which makes it a little bit better. But I mean, you're not going to get the super high definition stream from me, just because I don't have that. I don't have that ability with everything we have Wi-Fi wise, depending on the center. So I'll check it out when I get there. So please don't yell at me, scream at me because the Wi-Fi connection isn't very good. There's not much I can really do about it. So anyway, and maybe I'll do some commentary this weekend instead of just kind of letting you watch. But again, it's going to depend on the Wi-Fi on whether or not it's good enough to be able to do something like that. But we're bowling a couple events. It's going to be a smaller one on Saturday. I'm not really even sure what this literally, I don't have a clue what the formats are. I just know the one on Saturday is a championship event for all the events that were ran this summer. And you have to be a member for that. You can pay your membership on spot and you can bowl, even if you've never bowled an event before. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure you can still bowl. And there's like $1,500 or $2,500 added to that. Plus there's money added to the one on Sunday. So and that one's going to be a little bit more expensive. It's going to be like $220 entry fee. And it's going to give you a lot more money into the prize fund because that one's going to pay probably $4,000 or $5,000 to win. And I imagine the format's going to be a little bit better than that. I probably should have had that up for you, but I do not have it in front of me. So you're at the will of going to scratchbowling.com and checking that out for yourself. And other events, the weekend after that, we have a regional. The regional taking place. It's EJ Tackett's regional. We're going to head down there, and we're going to go bowl in, I think it's Huntington, Indiana, maybe. I don't remember, something like that. But we're going to go down there. We're going to bowl over there. I don't think we even know a pattern for that event yet. But we're going to go and we might do some live stream there as well. Bobby Jekyll, the Central Region tournament director, he lets me do all that stuff, so which is pretty cool. I think it's because there is no flow bowling at these events. If flow bowling was there, obviously I wouldn't even attempt to try to live stream while they're live streaming. That just wouldn't be right because there are an awful lot of flow bowling subscribers, payers who pay for that, that footage. So I don't want to be giving away free footage for people who pay for that footage there. So that would not be right of me. But anyway, why don't you guys give me a little bit of a heads up? What kind of topics do you want on the podcast? What should we talk about? Should we talk about lane play? Should we talk about bowling balls? Should we do more of the layouts issue or the layout talk? What kind of things do you want to hear? It's really tough to teach things as far as like physical game stuff. I can talk about, maybe the mentality of trying to change things a little bit. But other than that, there's not a lot I can do as far as trying to teach you without being in front of video. That's why I do some of the videos on YouTube. So for, you podcast listeners, make sure to head over to YouTube and subscribe over there. I do an awful lot of educational type stuff over there as well, which is, there's a lot of feedback that come through. I think that's where a majority of my subscribers come from, is because of, seeing the actual tutorials, the actual, physical game help that they can get from my YouTube channel and from the Bowler X channel. So if you're not a subscriber at the JR Raymond channel or the Bowler X channel, please be sure to head over to YouTube and get onto those, because we have lots of videos. Most of the ball reviews come out on the Bowler X channel. I do some small ones on mine, but all of the full unedited, uncut reviews are done over at the Bowler X channel. Actually, today I actually did a couple of them. I did the Jackal Flash. I had 2 of them sent to me this time. So I did 2 different layouts. I did my pin down layout. I did my pin up layout. And I got to tell you, the pin up one was super clean and just strong down lane. I had a hard time once I moved further left. I had a hard time getting it going through the pins because it was so quick down lane. The pin down one, in my opinion, was a little bit better. It gave me some more variety of playing the lanes a little bit. I think I'm going to probably keep the pin down one in my bag. I think the pin up one's going to be a little bit more of a specialty type ball. So I'm not sure where I'm going to use it yet, but I'll try. It'll travel with me a little bit because it is a super clean cover that, like this past weekend, I would have needed because I did find some super high friction, so from the start. Like I probably could have used that ball from the start and then went to the bloody ocean a little bit later because there was a ton of friction. In my afterburner, I had a pin-up afterburner with the same layout. That was clean, but it wasn't quite clean enough. I think this Flash is probably a little bit cleaner and would have been a little bit better in the beginning of that block than some of the other stuff that I use. So anyway, that's what I got going on there. We got some more videos. The Axiom Pearl video coming out soon. The fast pitch coming out here real shortly. I threw that a little bit. Boy, that ball actually is really good. I'm very shocked with the motion that I see out of it. It's not like the pitch purple. That pitch purple was a little squirty on me, a little over under at times. This one it's a solid version, so it is. And I know the pitch purple technically was solid, but they did it with a sheen. They made it a little bit shinier. But this blue thing, this fast pitch, is very good. It's very good at reading that middle of the lane. It gives you that typical urethane look in the front, and it does have a little bit more pickup down lane. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's a Purple Hammer type look yet, but you'll be able to see a little bit more of that in my review once that comes out. But yeah, make sure to head over if there is an option to. Man, my kid is loud. Good grief, running after the dog and everything. But if there is an option to make comments and stuff on this podcast, please do so. Otherwise, YouTubers, make sure to comment what you want to hear in a podcast. I know you get my video podcast daily, and that does go on basically Monday through Thursday, although I haven't done tomorrow's yet. I probably need to do one either first thing in the morning, but I have them done a little bit ahead of time. This one I have not had a chance to do because I went and drilled these bowling balls today. I went down to Toledo at Shopmakers Pro Shop in New Glass Bowl, and drilled all these new ones up. And unfortunately, that's probably going to be, I'm not going to see myself at Shopmakers an awful lot because now Michigan is opening up. So MRB Classic Pro Shop, which is just a few minutes from my house, is where we're going to be spending an awful lot of time because it is my buddy Mason's pro shop. And I do owe it to him to make sure I help continue to build his pro shop for him. So anybody that's in the Rochester Hills area, Metro Detroit area, please make sure to head over to MRB Classic Pro Shop located inside Classic Lanes, and let Mason take good care of you. And if I'm there, I can help out as much as I possibly can as well. But a lot of my videos are going to go back over there again. But he's going to be now working full-time at that shop. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be there most mornings all the way through the night. So he's going to have a little bit more opportunity to do some more work for you people, for you guys and gals who want to get some work done. I can't preach enough how important it is to have a very good pro shop operator doing your work. For those of you in Toledo, Keith Nussbaum is a great pro shop operator who he helped me with my span, lengthening it out a little bit, helped me change some thumb pitches and get to a spot where I was a whole lot more comfortable getting to where I was before when I was bowling really well. And now we've gotten to that point. I feel like I'm bowling as good as I ever have. I won this weekend, so I'm hoping to win again this weekend coming up. So we'll see what happens. But Keith, I owe all the credit in the world to Keith Nussbaum over at Shopmakers. And now he also has a new shop over at Southwick Bowl. It is Champion's Choice. So make sure to head over to either one of those pro shops if you get a chance. If you're in the Metro Detroit area, please be sure to head over to MRB Classic Pro Shop. But for today's podcast, I am out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow. This is the LTC Bowling Show on the podcast, the audio podcast, as well as video podcast here. So until next time, guys, I'm out of here. We'll see you later. Peace.